Welcome to Trial Site News Weekly Roundup. My name is Adrian, and I'll be going over some of our top news stories from this past week. Please click the subscribe button and ring the bell to be notified of future videos. This week we start our roundup with cancer-related news. Breast cancer could be detected up to 5 years before there are any clinical signs of it using a blood test that identifies the body's immune responses to substances produced by tumor cells, according to new research presented at the 2019 NCRI Cancer Conference, November 3, 2019. Meanwhile, Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute's RPI Biomedical Research Labs had a study terminated according to an animal activist group report filed with a federal agency overseeing the welfare of an animal in research labs. Meanwhile, VBL Therapeutics announced that an investigational new drug, or IND application, has received clearance from the U.S. FDA for approval to commence a Phase 2 trial in patients with recurrent glioblastoma multiforme, RGBM. The IND was submitted by Patrick Wen, MD, Director Center for Neuro-Oncology, Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, on behalf of a group of top neuro-oncology U.S. medical centers. Specifically, the IND is for a randomized controlled clinical trial of VB111, patients with recurrent glioblastoma multiforme RGBM undergoing a second surgery. And now for neurodegenerative news stories. The ALS Never Surrender Foundation, a volunteer-based nonprofit organizations on a mission to cure motor neuron disease and amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, or ALS, announced a $300,000 grant from the ALS Association to bring its ALS Engage app to MND/ALS patient progression research trials across the U.S. The Precision Point mobile technology app allows patients to remotely track over 80 metrics of range of motion, muscle control, dexterity, breathing, speech, and other key vitals on a universal platform, creating an exponentially richer patient progression database to study. Turning now to clinical trial-related news stories. Site management organization Panthera Biopartners launched its first clinical trial site in the UK. Based in Preston, in northern England, the new clinical investigational site is open for studies. Independent Panthera Biopartners, Panthera, has 3 clinical trials already in the pipeline. The clinical investigational site market continues to get more interesting by the day. Private equity-backed Velocity Clinical Research, led by industry veteran Paul Evans, acquired more regional clinical sites, adding 6 of them while in the process, expanding its footprint to 10 sites in 7 states. The company is executing to a strategic vision for a high-impact, scaled-out clinical investigational site operation that over time could rival some contract research organizations. Elsewhere, the non-interventional OCEAN study evaluated frequency and monitoring injections for retinal vein occlusion, or RVO, in routine practice in Germany. The Novartis-sponsored real-world study revealed that the patients with RVO in routine practice in Germany received fewer injections and fewer OCT examinations than in clinical trials. Turning now to liver disease news stories. Tarek Hassanein, MD, an expert hepatologist and clinical investigator, presents for Direct Corporation as a key opinion leader, or call, on the results of a Phase 2A clinical trial of DUR-928 in patients with alcoholic hepatitis, or AH. Consider attending the liver meeting at 2019 at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday, November 12, 2019. The obesity epidemic has helped usher in a non-alcoholic steatohepatitis crisis. Novo Nordisk, one of the few drug makers making big obesity pipeline investments, now pounces on the growing NAS challenge by negotiating an exclusive license to UD014, an investigational selective semicarbazide-sensitive amine oxidase vascular adhesion protein 1, or SSAO/VAP1 inhibitor, small molecule evidencing potential in preclinical research to address not only anti-inflammatory mechanisms of action, but also antioxidant effects on endothelial cells. Why not determine if it can be developed to target NASH as well? And now, turning to vaccine-related news story. Australia's Gold Coast truly represents one of the most beautiful places in the world. Its Griffith University Institute of Glaucomics received $500,000 from the government earlier this year to support their ongoing clinical trials program aiming to test the effectiveness of a world-first malaria vaccine candidate called Protect. We'll keep you posted on the story as it continues to develop. Turning now to kidney-related news stories. Diabetic kidney disease, or DKD, remains one of the most intractable complications of diabetes. Progress has been made using glycemic and blood pressure control, but the search continues for improved treatments for the estimated 1 in 4 adults with diabetes who has some level of neuropathy and continues at risk for eventual kidney failure. And now we turn to Alzheimer's-related news. In 2016, a 73-year-old woman from Medellin, Colombia, flew to Boston so researchers could scan her brain, analyze her blood, and pore over her genome. She carried a genetic mutation that had caused many in her family to develop dementia in middle age. But for decades, she had avoided the disease. The researchers now report that another rare mutation, this one in the well-known Alzheimer's disease risk gene, ApoE, may have protected her. They can't prove this mutation alone staved off the disease, but the study draws new attention to the possibility of preventing or treating Alzheimer's by targeting APO, an idea some researchers say has spent too long on the sidelines. And now, aging-related news stories. Can younger blood help older people feel good, improve skin, enhance athleticism, and find disease onset? Now, that is the opportunity being sold by entrepreneur Jesse Karmazin, MD. The scientific community has rolled its eyes at the trial element of ambrosia. There is no control group, and with participation costing so much, patients are not very randomized. Despite these criticisms of the science, Dr. Karmazin is still reporting positive results. Turning now to vision-related news stories. Vanderbilt University Medical Center seeks patients diagnosed with ocular hypertension or angle glaucoma for a study testing a new dropless delivery method for eye pressure called the Triton Research Study. It entails 36 visits over a 30-month period, and we'll keep you posted on the study as it continues to develop. Do you have any clinical news you'd like us to report on? If so, let us know. Contact information is in the box below. If you'd like to watch more, you can click the playlist that will appear to my right. Thank you for joining us for this week's Trial Site News Roundup, and remember, subscribe and ring the bell to be notified of updates. We'll see you next time.